And welcome back in. National Signing Day rolls on here on this Wednesday. It's the first Wednesday in February. You know what that means. Alongside Steve Wiltfong, that's Andrew Ivins. I'm Josh Pate. We just talked with Jimbo Fisher. Nick Saban coming up sometime around the bottom of the hour. I'm told he's fairly busy today, but probably will make time to join us. But in the meantime, we wanted to shift our attention over to the ACC. And to do that, we're going to bring back in his own personalized climate-controlled adjoining studio. That's Cooper Pategna there. And Cooper, I wanted to go immediately to the top of the conference. So let's talk about conference superlatives, and I want you to start with the overall top class in the ACC.
I think it starts with Mack Brown in Chapel Hill in North Carolina. They did a great job, especially in the state of Virginia this year. You start with Zach Rice, one of the top offensive linemen in this year's class in the top 247 coming out of Virginia and Liberty Christian. But a guy who played a little bit of right tackle where there's some conversation about him moving inside at the next level. I think he'll start his career as a tackle. Going to be interesting to see what side he plays on, ultimately on the left or right side. But certainly a guy that's a huge get for North Carolina. And then Travis Shaw, one of the best defensive linemen in the country. Have to lock down your own state. They did a really good job in North Carolina. Our guys saw him in Orlando at the Under Armour All-American game. Big body, quick twitch, explosive, certainly going to be an interior force at the next level. And then Andre Green, another top 247 receiver that we like a lot. He's got great ball skills, excellent 50-50 pass catcher. Sebastian Cheeks there from Illinois. Malachi Hamrick, another guy that can give you some multiplicity off the edge and at the inside linebacker position. So Mack Brown, North Carolina, certainly doing a great job on the recruiting trail. And
guys, this is a North Carolina program that had a lot of hype coming into this year. And they didn't live up to the hype and expectation that a lot of people set for them. So naturally, the follow-up is maybe people overlooked them on the trail a little bit. But this, as Cooper just said, it's the top class in the ACC right now.
And Mack Brown's 70. I think I said that back in December, and he's recruiting really well. They're also getting it done in the transfer portal. They got Corey Gaynor, an offensive lineman from another school in the conference, Miami. Corey Gaynor, multi-year starter at center. So checking a lot of the right boxes. Again, talk point of attack. I really like this group as well. Connor Harrell, quarterback from Thompson High School there in Alabama. He's very, very good. So interesting group.
Omarion Hampton and George Pettaway, arguably one of the best running back duos in this class. And that's a position that they really are going to need an impact from right away. And I think Omarion Hampton, he's a guy that can physically come in and give them something right away. And then George Pettaway, the way he can catch the ball and make things happen in that regard too, is something that's going to be valuable for Coach Phil Longo in that offense.
Now bring Cooper back in, because this is an interesting question here. The overall top sleeper class in this conference.
Yeah, well, they were asleep coming into the day. Now they're awake. Mario Cristobal making quick work at Miami, and this is what he does. This is why they brought him to Miami, to be able to keep talent home, and he's done a tremendous job between Trevante Citizen today, who was between LSU, Florida, and Miami. That's a big win for him going into Louisiana, being able to pull that caliber of a player. We talk about Cyrus Moss, who he landed out of the state of Nevada in Las Vegas, one of the top edge rushers in the class. And then Nigel Lee Kelly, a guy that we really like as a perimeter pass rusher from the great state of Florida as well. So Christopher Graves, another guy who certainly worked his way into that conversation, who kind of shot up the board for us later in the process. Mario Cristobal rejuvenating the University of Miami on the recruiting trail. This is just a start, doing a really good job in the class of 2022.
And this is going to be an interesting little headline that you can throw out several years from now. In Mario Cristobal's first couple of weeks on the job, he still ends up locking up the top overall class in the state of Florida.
I know, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Again, December we were in the 60s and 70s, and when he took over, it might not be a sleeper class now. Sit at number 3 in the ACC, number 4 in the country, or number 14 in the country. I will say though, I'll give you a sleeper signee, Jaden Harris, cornerback out of Atlanta. Some of the people in Coral Gables tell me they're very, very high on him. They expect him to play early. They think, if I think they had to rank him, he'd probably be in the upper half of the class. So a lot to like there, and they need help at defensive back. So Jaden Harris, a name to remember.
And it's important to note, we were talking about Shamar Stewart, possibly Miami with a shot there. They don't land him and still have the top 15 class and still have the top overall rated class in the state of Florida. Cooper, I'll bring you back in. Now, I'm looking at what your answer is right here. The folks don't know yet. If you were to tell me 2 years ago this team was going to be your answer for the surprising class, I would have said, who's the new head coach? And it's not a new head coach, but it's just, go ahead, the biggest surprise class in the ACC.
Well, we start with Clemson, and I think the answer to that is this same group was here, including myself, in December. We were very critical of Dabo Swinney and his staff. They have rebounded in the months of January and now early February in the second signing period. We talked about a couple of guys. Cade Klubnik obviously leading the charge there at the quarterback position. They're very high on him, 27-0 as a starter at Westlake in Austin. A couple other guys, Toriano Pride sitting outside the top 32, but one of the cleanest players in this class at the cornerback position, super versatile, can play a lot, pretty much anywhere in the secondary. You see Antonio Williams, who is just a really good football player, can play inside out, and then Adam Randall, who's very big, physical, 6'3", 200 pounds plus, sub 1,100 meter guy. So there's a lot to like. I know Clemson right now, everybody's kind of throwing the flag out and raising some questions about where they are versus where they've been. Certainly when it comes to quality, they're right up there where they have been in the past.
And Steve, we saw them land Caden Story just this morning, and that was a very, very pivotal pickup for them today. But your overall thoughts on where the Clemson class stands?
Well, you got your franchise quarterback, Cade Klubnik, who's won 2 state championships in a row down there at Austin Westlake. That's the largest class in the Lone Star State, arguably the toughest gauntlet of high school football you'll find in the country, and he's undefeated 2 years in a row, leading his team to a championship there. So you got your franchise quarterback under center. The secondary is outstanding. He talked about Jaden Lucas and Toriano Pride, but Sherrod Cobbles, a hard-hitting safety that Andrew and I saw a bunch in the offseason and thought he was terrific. And again, those receivers, Antonio Williams and Adam Randall, are major pickups for a program that is desperate for some playmaking ability in that receiver room. Those are guys that I think can add some juice right away.
Some top overall players here, and this is where we really dive into the weeds a little bit. The top overall signee that you see up and down the Atlantic Coast Conference there, Cooper.
Travis Shaw from the great state of North Carolina. I think this is a guy that we talked about a little bit earlier in this segment, but we go back to him because there's just a rare combination of size and athleticism. You see, even at 300 pounds plus, him standing up, playing in a two-point stance, gives you a little bit off the edge. You won't be doing that as much in college. He'll play inside, but with him, it's just more about maintaining the right habits, having structure at the next level at North Carolina. That's going to be critical for him to have success. Like I mentioned earlier, had a really good week down in Orlando. These guys are really hard to find. Clemson's had a lot of success in this area of the country with these type of players along the defensive line. So for North Carolina to get a guy like this, that says a lot about Mack Brown and what they're doing.
Tell me a little bit about Sam McCall here, another instant impact guy.
Yeah, a three-phase player coming out of South Florida. This is one of the guys that we liked as one of the best athletes in the country. Really in that 100 meter range, but does it all, super productive on all ends of the football field. Can play a little bit of corner, can play deep hash safety, has excellent ball skills, really dynamic on the offense side of the field, and can give you a little bit in the return game as well.
You know I want you on the hook for as many potential future Colt takes as possible, so I need you right now to find me a future Heisman up and down the ACC right now.
Cade Klubnik, and we talked about it. We talked about a guy, 70% passer at Westlake, 27-0. This is great competition in the state of Texas. I think Cade Klubnik, he's got it, whatever that is. We got to see him live in San Antonio. Presents himself well. The only question mark with him, he's 180 pounds right now, so adding weight to that frame, adding bulk to that frame, early enrollee at Clemson, so he'll get to accelerate a little bit in that process. And then if you're DJ Uiagalelei, listen, Cade Klubnik, that's going to be a guy that's going to challenge you from day one, so that's going to be interesting to watch.
Good stuff there from Cooper Pategna. Back here on the main set, I wanted to also just ask you guys really quick, the Virginia schools, both adding new head coaches. Just any quick thoughts on where those programs may be a year from now?
I actually talked to a parent of a recruit that visited Virginia over the weekend, and they brought up how Tony Elliott has that thing rocking there. They were very impressed with him, so I think it won't take long for him to find his footing.
And for Virginia Tech, that's a program that we've seen finish in the top 25 of the 24/7 Sports recruiting standings before. And Brent Pry coming over from Penn State, he saw the template there with Coach Franklin and how involved he is with the recruiting process and how important it is from the head coach on down. And Brent Pry was part of so many big recruiting wins for the Nittany Lions. I think that Virginia Tech, we're going to see an uptick with them on the recruiting trail under this new regime.
National Signing Day, always fun. A lot of fireworks. Cooper Pategna, I just wanted to see you smile one more time, my friend. There you see the ACC rankings up to the minute. North Carolina with the top overall class in the conference. Clemson, Miami, Florida State, and Virginia Tech round out the top 5. Still a lot more to come on this National Signing Day. Stay with us as we roll merrily along.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.